Hello, friends. This time I'd like to speak to you about something every speaker has to work on at some point, and that is how you breathe. The challenge is that most of us don't even know we need to work on our breathing, or we may be painfully aware that we need to work on our breathing. So let's talk about the best way to do that. As you remember from my earlier videos, we talked about grounding. So we always start with grounding when you want to create change. Why? Because the grounding makes it so much easier for your body. If you don't ground, you can squeeze the throat and you'll see the muscles moving here and in the chest. This happens a lot when you're speaking a language that is not your mother tongue. So if your first language is something other than English, you may notice when you speak English, there's a lot of compression, squeezing, and gripping going on in the upper body. We want to avoid all of that so your voice projects naturally. So we want to start by grounding. Your knees should be lined up with your hips. You've got an L shape going on with your feet. And the way to test for grounding is to stand up. If you can easily stand up and sit down, you're probably grounded. You can also go to the back and make sure you've got a nice alignment here. But the idea is to be grounding through the feet, gently pressing into your feet as your spine gets long. Now we're going to move to breathing. So one way to test your breathing is to put a hand on your chest and a hand on your upper stomach. Take a breath. You might be breathing into both parts. You might also be breathing only into your chest. So let's start with the chest. Breathe into the chest and then exhale. I'm speaking from my chest. Let's do that again. I'm speaking from my chest. The first thing to notice is, can you isolate only your chest? Now let's switch, and we're going to use the upper stomach. As you inhale, the stomach goes out. As you exhale, the stomach comes in. I'm speaking from my stomach. I'm going to sit down and do that so you can hear the difference. Stomach only, upper hand doesn't move. I'm speaking from my stomach. Now you may notice when I speak from exclusively the stomach, that is when I fill the stomach with breath, my voice gets a little softer. So I'm going to show you again what the chest was like. Good morning, everybody. And again what the stomach was like. Good morning, everybody. It's a little smoother, a little softer. Now in speech, especially public speaking, we don't necessarily want a soft voice. So I don't recommend upper stomach, that is the rectus abdominis region, as the best spot for breath. It's not a bad place. I'm not saying you should never breathe there, but it's not your primary go-to. In fact, my suggestion to you is that you learn to breathe into the whole body. The back, the sides, the clavicles, the throat, the chest, anything that'll fill with air, and then let your brain decide, based on your messaging, which spot is the best spot to breathe into. Now, so far, we've tried the chest and the stomach. We haven't tried the sides. If you watched my earlier video, you learned the exercise where you stretch and breathe into the sides. So that's what you could call lizard breathing. You know, lizards breathe out to the side, and humans don't do much of that anymore, if we ever did. So the idea is to try to breathe into the side of your body, and then exhale. Notice the shoulders stay down, they don't lift. And our goal is to get the ribs to expand so our stomach doesn't go forward. Who wants a big stomach? Instead, the ribs go out to the side with breath. We inhale and we exhale. Now let's try sound, and try this with me. You inhale and you exhale. I'm speaking from my ribs. Now, the interesting thing is, compared to the chest and the upper stomach, did you notice how fluid yet loud the sound is? So I'm going to show you all three exclusive, isolated areas. The chest. Good morning, everybody. Speaking from the chest. Stomach from here. Good morning, everybody. Speaking from the stomach. Now, rib cage. Good morning, everybody. Speaking from the rib cage. So you see the advantages to being able to breathe into different regions. Now, are you limited to those three regions? No. You could breathe into your clavicles, Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the conference. Kind of loud, kind of fast. Actually, breathing through here is really nice if you want to say something loud like, Mamma mia, I love pizza. Or, for example, taxi. Sometimes women have trouble getting a taxi, right? We're not loud enough. So we want to breathe here and go, taxi. It's perfectly fine to breathe here for short bursts of speech. Now, in addition to that, we also have back breathing and we have pelvic floor breathing, but that's a little bit much for this particular video. So my suggestion to you is to isolate, work on each area for the breath, and then once you've got them all, integrate. And I advocate whole body breathing. It's not about breathing into the stomach and getting a big stomach. It's about using your entire body to leverage your speech with breath. It gives you the power behind your speech. Thanks for joining me today. See you again soon.